Good afternoon. It's 7:45 in Dublin, Ireland. And I want to say special thanks to Groundskeeper Willy for keeping my greens short and my balls rolling smoothly. It's a golf thing, man. It's a golf thing.
To our NCAA Tournament Show. This is James the Nose Holt.
And this is Jeff the Bagman Baggett. And we're just saying. So how are we starting off?
Tell you a little bit of facts here and there about your NCAA bracket. And you probably already know this, and it's some fun facts just to make sure that you fill out your bracket correctly. And then we'll tell you our aspects and our opinions.
Well, I'm glad to see that it's only $5 this year because I'll gladly just give you my Abraham Lincoln to keep because I will not see any of it ever again.
It's all right, but the winner could win up to about $200 to $300 this year. It's looking good.
But we're not gambling on anything. We're not winning. This is play money.
Totally donating.
Play money. And possibly a championship belt from what I hear.
Possibly a championship belt this year.
I would love to wear that around school, but all I'm going to get to see is other people wearing it.
You are correct.
Discount double check.
Ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know how to fill out your bracket, you never vote against a number 1 when they are playing a number 16 seed.
Never happened before?
Never has, never, I don't think will. It may.
The closest it came was Murray State, and sadly, they did not make the tournament. That was robbery.
Now, we're moving on to the number 2s. We'll just run down the spots here. Number 2 versus number 15s.
So what you're saying, Kentucky, before we go on, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Villanova, and Duke. How far are they walking?
According to statistics-wise, 3rd round. But what we're looking at most often is one of those number 1s may get shut out this year because the field looks pretty even this year, and that's been a hard thing to say in the past.
So you saying 3rd round for Duke? Duke who hadn't made it past the 2nd round in, the past 3-4 years?
Even though I am not a fan, Duke has a good chance to go definitely 3 in. So statistic-wise, 2s doing better than the number 15s about 7 or 8 times out of 112 has a number 15 beat a number 2.
You see that happening this year?
I am not seeing it happen this year. Not this year. But then you go down, the next step is you're picking out a 14 or a 13 over a 3, 4, or 5, somewhere in there.
Not going to happen with my boys from Notre Dame.
Not going to happen with Notre
Not
Dame?
after they demolished UNC and Duke in the 24-hour span. ACC tournament champs.
Going to have to congratulate him here because I told him I would do it live as I could.
Play like a champion, my friend.
Way
All
to
right,
go, Notre Dame.
Back to it. They are a number 3 facing Northeastern number 14. I don't see them losing that game.
No, and again, statistics-wise, you're not looking except maybe one of a 13 or a 14 winning. One out of your whole bracket.
I do, however, looking at Georgetown and Eastern Washington in the South bracket, I've got Eastern Washington going over Georgetown. I think Georgetown is probably the weakest 4, 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the tourney right now.
I'm going to agree with you, but also throw
Disagree.
No, but I'm going to have to throw in the way North Carolina plays. If it plays great, I don't have to worry about that number 13. But if it plays like it has in the past this year, that number 13, looking at Harvard here, it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us.
Yeah, one quick note on Georgetown. They're 4-10 against top 50 teams. 4-10.
That's hurtful right there.
That is not a good 4-10.
Looking, though, at even 11s, 12s, not much of a – there's no real upsets there. Maybe looking at your fellow Dayton's there, you like Dayton as a number 11.
I do like Dayton as a number 11 if they can get in the dance past Boise, which is a whole nother ball of wax that we can go off on a tirade. I don't know why a team like Dayton or Boise State is playing a play-in game at number 11 and some 16 has a walk-in.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
Would you rather?
BYU or Ole Miss, since we're Heath Caps out there. Do you go for BYU or Ole Miss in that play-in number 11 game down in the West?
After watching what Notre Dame did against Duke and UNC, and I'm going to keep bringing that up, and knowing BYU's a good perimeter team, generally a good perimeter team, like I said, let me preface this by saying this whole show, I don't know much about college basketball, but I know statistics. And BYU has statistically been an outside shooting team. And I could see them easily beating Mississippi.
And I haven't heard from Ole Miss this year. Mm-hmm. Not really a team that I would be worried about.
Here's a good question. Would you rather be a 16 seed facing a 1 or a play-in at an 11? Because we've got 2 play-ins at 11s, right?
Well, if I'm saying that it was Lafayette going in against Villanova, which it's not, but they're not a play-in game. But if that was my play-in game, yes, I would rather have the number 16 seed because I know I would be playing a Villanova, which I think is a weaker team to me than the tougher team who wants to stay in will be the number 4s.
Villanova had the 22nd ranked schedule, 32-2.
There you go by statistics.
18-1 against the top 100. I'm sorry, 18-2.
How about the number 9 and 8 seeds? You're looking at a 50 or a 500 with 9s winning actually a little bit more than the 8s.
Yeah, your 9s come in with a chip on their shoulders. I got, once again, in the South, I've got St. John's over San Diego State. Now, San Diego State has caused the demise of me in the past, but I got faith in St. John's. They are a 9 over an 8.
I'm going to throw a question out there. Mm-hmm. Mr. Taylor, if you're listening on the line, and I know you are, NC State and LSU, an 8 and a 9.
I got LSU over NC State.
Why would you pick LSU?
I watched LSU play a couple times, and I was impressed with them. Granted, they had some sloppy losses.
Where are they from?
LSU's from the state of Louisiana. And
where are you from, sir?
I am from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was born and raised a Tulane fan, an arch enemy of LSU, and I hate for me to say I'm pulling for LSU in this case, but honestly, I think NC State is probably just happy to be in the dance at this point because they don't deserve to be there.
They had a rough year this year. They played some great games. Mm-hmm. They won against big teams, Duke to be 1. And actually North Carolina within about a week's period there. And they play very high, and then at other times they play ridiculously low. Now, moving on to...
Wait, I wanted to say this real quick.
Go ahead.
NC State, 4-8 against ranked teams 1 through 50. 4-8 against ranked teams 1 through 50. They had the 8th toughest schedule in the country. 20-13, but 4-8, 10-10 against top 100 teams.
Real quick, probably
roll a dice. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A number 1, 2, or 3, making it into all the way to the round of 8 or 16.
Let's back it up one step. Wait, okay. I want to go back to my 12-5.
All right, 12-5. Who's your 12 that's going to beat 5?
I'm not predicting this. But I'm saying, how about Wofford over Arkansas? You knew I was going there. We can't leave the show without Wofford.
You are correct. I'm still going to go with that number 5 on that one.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say that. But
I mean,
you look out at Wyoming, why not maybe beating UNI.
Yes. No. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But the thing is, why not go for a Wofford over Arkansas?
I will be pulling for Wofford. How's that? But I'm not going to put them down on
because they're not going any further than UNC.
You're right.
Neither one of those teams are going to beat UNC.
And I love my boys to death, North Carolina there, but I don't see an Arkansas and a Wofford actually giving them a challenge.
Oh, absolutely not.
So you don't go for Buffalo over West Virginia, which should be – West Virginia is a tough team in the tournament anyway.
No. I did put a star by that one because I'm not sure – if Buffalo – do they pull the upset there?
Again, the only one that I'm looking at is either Wyoming and UNI or, like you, Wofford and Arkansas. That's what I'm looking at. If you move in a couple of rounds.
Right. That's where it gets hard.
Okay, we've moved from 64 to 32. And, well, even looking at a Cincinnati and Purdue versus Kentucky, who are you going to pick over that? Who's your pick for one? Cincinnati?
Kentucky. I got Kentucky all the way to Elite Eight right now.
Okay.
All the way. Kentucky, I mean, they're 34-0.
How about this? I will give you
35th ranked strength of schedule.
Who is your winner
great
out of each conference there? Midwest, you're going to go with?
Like Final Four?
Yeah, Final Four.
I think Kentucky.
Kentucky?
I got to go Kentucky over Notre Dame.
All right. West?
West, I hate to go chalk on this, but this is where it gets tough for me. I've mentally filled in until the sweet Elite Eight. I have Wisconsin and Arizona, and I'm not quite sure who's going to win that battle.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to go with Kentucky facing Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. The only people that are in Kentucky's way that have a chance at them, I have to regrettably say, Notre Dame and Kansas, if they can get on the boat and actually play like they can.
Can they string it together? That's the problem with Kansas.
And right now, Bill Self came on. I think he's got one or two players there actually out right now. So we move on to the East and the South.
The East and the South.
Are you picking Villanova coming out of the East?
I am picking Villanova out of the East.
Wow.
Until somebody gives me a reason not to, I'm picking them.
How about this? If Virginia's healthy, doubtful that they are, but if Virginia's healthy, you're not picking that number 2.
No.
Okay. And you're
14-3 in the top 100 versus 18-2. It's close. 22 ranked schedule versus 20. All right. So the schedule, the records are equal. The schedule's equal. I don't know. Maybe Virginia. Maybe they come in with a chip on their shoulder from losing it. All right.
And then in the South.
The South.
You've got a Duke. You got a Gonzaga. You've also got.
I like Gonzaga.
Okay, Gonzaga.
This could be their year.
Could be a tough one. And then Iowa State's actually number 3 down there. And then you got their number 4, Georgetown, which is weak.
Georgetown is weak. Georgetown, like I said, I don't even have Georgetown winning their first game.
So would you pick anybody in the championship game like they did last year, an 8 and a 7?
There's not going to be a 7 and 8. We won't see 7 and 8 again for a long time. We may not even be alive for a 7 and 8 again. Not going to happen. I tried to find, I'll be honest with you, I tried to find holes in this bracket. I can't find holes. I really can't. Beyond the first round, it's very even. It's very leveled. When you look at RPI and you look at schedules and ranking, they did a pretty good job of it. The only thing I don't like is I don't like Duke as a number 1. And we could talk for a half an hour on that. But the bottom line is you don't win your conference or your conference tournament, you can't have a number 1. You either have to give it to your conference tournament champion, which was Notre Dame, or your regular season champion, which is Virginia, which neither one of them got a number 1 rank.
Virginia did not finish in the tournament. They finished underneath a team that shouldn't have won, which is North Carolina, at a number 5 in the ACC, number 19 overall. Where you had Duke getting beat by a number 3 to 5 team in the nation, which was Notre Dame.
So, where does that leave us?
Leaves us with, who do you pick as your champion? Do you pick Kentucky? Do you pick the field? Who are you picking?
Oh, you want to do who you got, Kentucky or the field?
I'm going to ask you that. Who do you got, Kentucky or the field?
I'd take the field. Now, I'm going to reverse it on you, and I'm going to give you Kentucky, Villanova, Duke, or Wisconsin. Number 1 or the field?
Oh, I'm going to totally go with number 1s. Even though I'm not a Duke fan, and I do believe that Nova's going to go out, I have strength in the side of Midwest and West being Kentucky and Wisconsin.
So you taking number 1 over the field, specifically Duke?
Oh, no.
I'm just trying to get them to say it, folks.
But it is a number 1 that could possibly go all the way, but their bracket is one of the tougher brackets to me that I've seen.
So number 1's going to win it this year?
Number 1 will win it. I'm going to probably say it's going to be Kentucky, but I'm going to vote against that. I'm hoping that anybody can beat Kentucky, be it Wisconsin.
Let me ask you this. Do you see a 4 number ones.
4 number ones? No. Believing that Villanova is not the tough team. Sorry, they're not a number 1 to me.
So, in the end, this is our question of the day, I guess. Tweet us, Facebook us with the answer. Who do you think's going to wear the belt at the end of the year? Who's going to be tournament champions? Who's going to hold the cup, the trophy, whatever it may be? I don't even know. What do they give them?
The trophy.
What do they give them?
Trophy.
Like I said, I don't know nothing about college basketball. Whatever. Who wins the tournament this year? Tweet us, Facebook us with your prediction. If you want to give us Final Four and then your champion, go ahead and do that as well. And let's see who really wins it out at the end of the month. We'll be checking back.
This has been James the Nose Holt.
And this has been Jeff the Bagman Baggett. And I don't know if that's a shillelagh in your pocket or if you're just glad to see me.
Very happy.
And we're
just saying.
This crowd has gone deadly silent. Cinderella story, out of nowhere. A former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion. It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole! It's in the hole! It's in the hole!